This is Dr. John Tolson, and you're listening to the Disciple Making Podcast. You know, you and I are no more prepared for heaven than the moment Jesus came into our lives. So the question becomes, why did he leave you here? Why did he leave me here? In Matthew 28, he tells us why. He said, "Go therefore into all the world and make disciples, who make disciples, who make disciples." So it's really not all about me. It's not all about you. It's about him and what he wants to do in and through us. Last time we talked about 9 reasons why the 4 priorities from Matthew chapter 22, verses 37 to 39 are important. We said the 4 priorities are biblical. Number 2, they're Christ-centered. Number 3, they're universally useful. Number 4, they're timeless. Number 5, they're basic bottom line Christianity. Number 6, they help us to stay focused and functioning on those things that are essential. Number 7, they're very focused on Jesus and on these 4 priorities that we've been laying out and talking about. Number 8, they help us to live a balanced life. And finally, number 9, they give us the freedom to say no. Now, what I'd like to do now, for the time remaining, is to give you some thoughts on those 9 things that I think are very practical and make a difference in our everyday life. Number 1, God cares about how we live and what we do. God cares about how you live and what you do every day in your life. And so we need to understand that, but also in light of that, number 2, we need to remember that life is too short to get it wrong. So why not get it right? And by getting it right, it's living it according to his priorities. Number 3, God has a magnificent plan for your life and for my life. Read Jeremiah 29:11. Read Isaiah chapter 42, verse 16. Number 4, don't worry about becoming a religious fanatic. Some people believe, well, if I really get too serious about following Jesus and making disciples, and all I want to do is go to church and put some money in the bucket and leave and then live my life the way I want to, then go back next week. And so in other words, it's all about you. It's not all about you. It's not all about me. It's about him and what he wants to do in and through our life. He's got a plan for our life. So a fanatic, somebody said, is a person that redoubles their efforts once they've lost sight of their goal. Don't worry about that. We're not even close to being that kind of person. Number 5, live on target. If you live by the 4 priorities, you are living on target, biblically speaking. Number 6, in order to live by his 4 priorities, we must, number 1, decide and commit what you are going to do. And number 2, decide and commit to what you're not going to do. We've got to begin to think through how we live our daily lives. And so once you begin to get more familiar with these 4 priorities, which we talked about the last 2 times, take those 4 priorities and begin to say, all right, in the next 7 days, how am I going to live by these 4 priorities? Your schedule will illustrate your priorities. Let these 4 biblical priorities shape your schedule and your life. Somebody said, it's hard by the yard, but a cinch by the inch. 1 step at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time. And then I think what we're not going to do, we got to be willing to not allow the clutter of life to cause us to experience claustrophobia. We've got to begin to declutter our lives and live clean, sharp, focused life as we focus on his biblical priorities. Here's a danger as I close. The danger is that we become respectable, decent, commonplace, mediocre Christians. So will it be more TV, more banana cream pie, more football, more channels with football on them, or a focused, committed person living by God's 4 biblical priorities? What's it going to be for you? You think about that. Thanks for listening to the Disciple Making Podcast. Check out our website at thetolsongroup.com and sign up for my weekly encouraging videos called Red Glasses Talks to come to your email every Monday morning. You can also find me at Dr. John Tolson on social media. I'd appreciate it if you'd leave me a review and share with a friend.